All right, so we just wanted to take this time to welcome you all. We are so privileged to come alongside you and support your students. My name is Linda. I am an academic counselor at PENNCAP, and I am joined here by my colleague, Faith. Faith, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Faith Hamilton Brown, and I am also an academic counselor at PENNCAP. I've been at PENNCAP for 20 years. Welcome to the Penn community. We're so excited to have your child come be a student with us.
Yes, and we're here to talk about, things that your students wish that you knew, especially as you're trying to navigate this space at Penn. And one of the things that is really unique, especially in terms of a perspective that Faith provides in this space, is that she herself is a parent. She has a son who is going through school and having to navigate what it means to be doing school virtually. So Faith, can you tell us a little bit or share out your experience as a parent, what this season has looked like for you, especially in the last semester, as a parent?
As a parent, well, this season was challenging for all of us at so many levels. And one thing that really was challenging is technology. We use much more technology than we ever had in the past. And of course, there was less contact and social distancing and things that we took for granted, especially with us connecting with our students, coming on campus, and not having that privilege and opportunity to interact in such a way. One thing, I was extremely nervous, and I have to say and be transparent, I still am. I'm still learning. There's a big learning curve. And one thing my son said to me is, "Mom, don't be nervous, it's due to everybody." And it is. So that's the beauty of it all. We were all learning together and we were making adjustments together. The one thing that we had to learn as parents, and when having our child, my son was a senior in college and at LaSalle University, so he already knew what it meant to be a student. However, he didn't know what it meant to be a student at home. So he had to establish a safe place. When I say safe, as far as less distraction, the noise level that he likes to study, and also for me to be aware that he's studying. And sometimes I know that he's studying, but I need something done. So I may just call his name and have him do something. And we already had a prior conversation that he's allowed to say, "I'm studying right now. This is my study time." And I had to respect that. So that's something as parents we have to learn to empower our students to learn to be an advocate for themselves, even when it comes to their own home in this new space and learning new roles and avenues of what it means to be a student, to study, and not to give into the distractions. Because there's sometimes your child may rather take out the trash or wash the dishes versus study or learn a new material. We want to be encouraging and keep them focused.
Right now, with the first semester having passed, but even in that time frame of them transitioning from high school to now realizing that, oh my goodness, I'm a college student. How do I navigate this space? What does that look like? I'm still at home. I'm in the same room. I'm not on campus, but somehow I'm a college student. And I think the thing that is kind of hard for us to kind of grasp, especially when we are doing things virtually. I know that some of our students are planning on coming to campus for this upcoming spring semester, but it's navigating that space and really learning what it means to be a Penn student. And I know that you and I have had conversations about this, that it's not just any student. Your students are the cream of the crop. They are at an Ivy League institution. And so I know in our conversation space that you have shared about the uniqueness of that experience and what that can mean for our students. Can you share a little bit about just what you've heard from students you've been here over a decade. So in that time that you've talked to our students and just knowing Penn, what are some things that you want our parents to know or that you would think would be helpful for them to know as your students are making this transition?
So they are an Ivy League institution and they applied to different schools. If they got into Penn, they got into some other schools. And a lot of our students did early decision and they're excited to be here. And they knew that it was going to be the academic rigor. They signed up for the challenge. However, they didn't know what the challenge was going to look like. And Lord knows, none of us knew that this was going to look exactly like this physically with COVID-19. So there's adjustments within the adjustments that they knew that they needed to make. So with the academic adjustment, our students know that they're smart. They're the best in the nation. Your child knows that they're smart. You're used to having a child that excels academically, probably didn't have a lot of challenges with homework, probably didn't study. We have so many students at Penn who just didn't study because they didn't need to. But this audience, they're going to have to study. They're going to have to learn to take notes. They're going to learn time management. They're going to have to learn to pace themselves. So sometimes they're going to need to be reminded that they can do this. They're going to need to be reminded you earned that seat at Penn and you're going to do well, because Penn is extremely selective. They're going to choose a student that they know is prepared for the academic rigor. And even when your student doesn't feel as prepared, remind them there's so much support here at Penn. If you don't remember anything else, you can remind them, check in with their PENNCAP counselor. Their PENNCAP counselor is going to help them connect to the needed resources. There's so many resources on Penn's campus, and that's really what sets Penn apart from the rest of the Ivies, is the nurturing and the resources that are available to them, readily available to them. And then to be privileged to be in a program such as PENNCAP, where you have a counselor that's working with you until graduation. The counselor gets to know you get to know your counselor, you become familiar, you become part of the PENNCAP family. So whenever you have a concerned parent, just check in with your child and ask them, when was the last time you talked to your PENNCAP counselor?
And let me tell you, I love getting that email notification letting me know that a student has made an appointment with me. That is what we are here for. We are here to not only support you, but we're also here especially to support your students.
Yes.
We want to see them flourish here at Penn. I often tell my students just don't land at Penn. They don't just fall from the sky and they just happen to be at Penn. There were intentional decisions that you and your student made to bring them to where they are today. And I can't tell you the number of times where I have let my students know that you belong here.
Yes.
And just seeing them really take that in. I belong here. And I think it's difficult because a lot of times our students are coming from places where they were at the top of their class. And now they're coming amongst other students that are at the top of their class. And they're having to learn to readjust to that caliber of learning, caliber of students that they're being surrounded with. But the thing is that we have resources here at Penn to support them in that journey. They're not alone. You are not alone in this. I really want to emphasize that. And, with what you were sharing, Faith, it is a family.
Yes.
PENNCAP is, and you actually shared this when we were talking together, is their home base or home plate.
Yes.
They know, or they should know, and this is something that you can emphasize with them, is Penn is there for you. You have a community within PENNCAP that you can go to, whether it's with your peers, whether it's with your academic counselor, and check in with them. If there is something that you may not know as a parent or that you may have questions about, ask your student, like Faith said, when was the last time you checked in with your academic counselor? The encouragement that we want to bring into this space to let you know that we are wanting to build that web of support around you and around our students. Now, one of the things that you touched upon this, but I wanted to go back into it, is creating that space for our students to study. And I think with that, working with our students and with your children to set up expectations, having that conversation to understand what is it that your student needs to succeed in this space. And not only that, but what are things that you can expect from them if they're schooling from home, or even if they're on campus.
It's communication. It really comes down to communication. So for me, as a parent with my son in the home, and some of my students affectionately call me their Penn mom, and they come in and they have questions. This is one thing I encourage us as parents to just ask our student, our child, what does support look like for you? Support looks like different things for different people. As a professional, as a counselor at Penn, I send quotes to my students, and a lot of them like it and they tell me thank you. When my son started as a freshman in college, I sent him quotes. He said to me, "Mom, you don't just send me quotes every day." I said, "Jay, I don't send you quotes every day." He said, "You don't just send them every week." I'm like, okay, basically you don't want quotes. So that wasn't supportive to him. So you have to learn what support is for your child. And they may want a note, or they may want you just to remind them they're smart. You can do this, you have this. Just learn what support looks like in this developmental stage of their life with this new challenge that they're meeting, and then execute. Make sure that things that you know they need, such as a quiet space. And when I say a quiet space to study, some students like to study with music on, or some students like to study with the TV on, but they like their noise. So I say quiet space according to us, not bringing our voice in and our concerns and our requests and our demands at a certain time. And just sometimes there is a study schedule and a rigorous schedule that your students can follow. And other times there's going to be times they can't keep the schedule. They may have to do an extra assignment, or it's taking longer than they anticipated. So just being supportive of what their needs may be. For your student that's on campus, ask them, how's it going? Did you make a new friend? Ask them, do you have a study buddy? And once again, always ask them, when's the last time you talked to your PENNCAP counselor? It's okay to have a one-way communication. It's okay to send a text and say, oh, guess what? This just happened great at home. And they can read it, they may smile and laugh, but they may not respond to your text because they're reading as they're preparing for their next assignment. However, that is still communication, and it's still being supportive, and it's still being inclusive. So learn your child, have a communication with what is needed or what support looks like for them now, and move forward with that.
Especially with some of our students coming on campus now, going back to setting up the expectations, you might even have a conversation with your student and ask them, is there a certain time of day that would work best for me to check in with you, like whether it's through a text or, because our students have so many different responsibilities that they're trying to juggle, whether it's classes, whether it's lectures, extracurriculars that they might be involved with. So you might want to talk to them right now, but they might not be able to pick up their phone. And it's not that they don't want to talk to you. It just so happens that they're zooming in to a lecture right now, or they're zooming into an office hour that they are meeting with a professor to go over some coursework that they might not have understood. So it's creating that space and having those expectations being laid out between you and your student. And really it's communication. And one of the things that comes with that is it's likely that even as parents and as we're transitioning from season to season, we change. Our students will change. And I know it's a little bit weird, like I know that even with me, when my parents were sending me off to school, they had to relearn me in a way. Like there were some things that I brought with me that, they knew to expect, like this is how Linda is. But one of the most beautiful things about college and being a college student is that it's a space for students to really explore and to come to learn more about themselves. And Faith, you had alluded to this in our conversation previously, but if any place is a place for exploration, Penn is that place.
Yes.
We have resources for your students where if there is something that they are passionate about, that they care about, it is likely that they will find something at Penn that will help support that in them. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Oh, most definitely. And if your son or daughter doesn't find that, our student at Penn, they can establish it. They can establish that club. They can establish that resource that they have a passion for. And that's what Penn is definitely takes great pride in. And we encourage our students not to come here to be a strong student only, but to develop and grow and be the best person, the best version of you, and to maximize the amazing opportunities you have here at Penn, and to explore. So once our students graduate, they won't just say, I went to Penn. They'll be able to say, I did Penn, I am Penn, and I did this, and this is the legacy I left behind. So we encourage you to encourage your students, your child, to embrace the opportunity here. And it may not happen their first semester, it may not happen their second semester. A lot of students blossom during their sophomore year, but it may happen their first semester. We have students who are in their first semester who are leaders on campus. So whenever it happens for them, it's their time. Embrace it, encourage them, and listen, learn to hear where they are. And also, just always throw some positive affirmations in any way you can, every time you get an opportunity to, because this campus is extremely competitive, is a very challenging. So some things they'll attempt to join in, they won't have the opportunity, not because they're not the best, it's just not enough spaces in that organization, there's not enough seats in that room. So encourage your students to continuously thrive with their passion, move forward, and to grow and to connect. And there's always going to be a seat at one of the tables of their passion for them.
I want to encourage you to know that these conversations, no matter how difficult they might be, is an indication of the growth that's happening between you and your child. They're coming to their own as individuals, and you and them are navigating the space and learning what that looks like now that they are transitioning from, being a high school student to now being a college student. And so it's actually pretty exciting, right? To have our students come to their own in this way.
It is exciting. As a parent, when it becomes extremely challenging, that's where we're here for you. We're here to support you as well, parents. And we understand the challenges that are before. We are grateful for you. You prepared your child for this. You supported your child to move to this campus, whether it's virtual or not. So when you get into that tight space, your favorite line can be, have you talked to your PENNCAP counselor? Have you talked to your PENNCAP counselor? And we are prepared to have those challenging conversations. And it won't be our first or second time having them. So we'll bring a wealth of wisdom and experience and nurturing to your students so that they will grow and soar here at Penn.
I think the heart behind this, even with this session, is that we want you to know that we are here to come alongside you and to really see your students flourish.
Yes.
At a place like Penn.
Yeah. We definitely want our students to soar. And if there's a big takeaway that we would love for you to hear as parents, is to know that your student, your child is our student. That's your student, is your child, that's our student, which means that they have a safe place. They have a place to go. There should never be a time when your child is bewildered and just doesn't know where to go. They can always start with us. They can always start with the PENNCAP office. If their PENNCAP counselor isn't available, there's going to be a counselor available. There's going to be someone there that's vested in your child, because our job is to make sure that your child has a healthy developmental Penn experience. We want them to maximize their Penn experience. So there should never be a time where your child does not know where to go. They're in PENNCAP. They're part of the PENNCAP family. There's always going to be support. The PENNCAP counselor is there with great pride, willing to embrace them. And they also have a peer mentor who takes so much pride in being their peer mentor and looking out for them. They have a great support in each other as well. So there's going to be support, but sometimes we go through things and all the circles of support we have, we still feel isolated. We're still confused and we don't know where to go. So just always remember to encourage your child to meet with a PENNCAP counselor. They always have a place that's home.
I love that. That is so true. And with that, we appreciate your time so much. Thank you for making the space to join us and to learn more about not only what PENNCAP does, but especially how we can work together, providing your students the support that they need to succeed at Penn. So from the moment they come in as freshmen to the moment that they end and they graduate from our school. Thank you.
Thank you.